Oh my God.
The sun was burning red and orange when the stranger rode into Dust Ridge town. The horse beneath him was not beautiful. It was not strong. It was broken. The animal's ribs showed like old fence posts under its thin, gray skin. One of its back legs moved differently than the others, not smooth, but stiff and painful. Its head hung low, and its eyes had lost hope long ago. This horse was not meant for the desert. This horse was not meant for anything anymore. But the man on its back did not care about what the horse looked like. He simply rode into town slowly, speaking soft words that nobody could hear. The old saloon keeper, named Tom, watched from his wooden porch. He squinted at the stranger. Tom had seen many people come to Dust Ridge: cowboys, hunters, thieves, and dreamers. But he had never seen a man ride a horse like that before. The stranger sat very still. He did not hold the rope tight. He did not use a whip. His hands were gentle on the animal's neck. "That horse is almost dead," Tom said to himself. "Why would anyone ride such a broken thing?" The stranger got down slowly. He was not young, not old. His face was dark from sun and wind. His clothes were worn and dusty, but his eyes were kind. Those eyes told a story of sadness, of loss, of something broken inside that matched the broken horse beside him. He tied the horse to a post outside the saloon. Then he did something strange. He did not go inside to drink water and rest. Instead, he stood with the horse. He placed his hand on the animal's thin neck and just stayed there. He was not moving. He was not speaking. He was just standing, hand on the horse's neck, watching the sunset turn the sky purple and dark. "You need whiskey, friend?" Tom called out. The stranger did not answer right away. He kept his hand on the horse. Finally, he turned and looked at Tom. His voice was quiet, like wind moving through dry grass. "Does this town have anyone who knows about broken things?" he asked. "Someone who knows how to help animals that other people gave up on?" Tom rubbed his chin. He thought for a moment. Then he said, "There is a woman. Her name is Sarah. She lives at the edge of town, past the old church. She has a small ranch with goats and chickens and 2 horses nobody else wanted. She takes care of broken things." The stranger nodded slowly. He looked back at his horse. He touched its head gently. "Thank you," he said to Tom. Then the stranger led the horse down the dusty street. Tom watched him go, wondering who this man was and why he cared so much about an animal that was dying. Sarah was sitting on her porch when she saw them coming. She was a strong woman with kind eyes and hands that knew how to work hard. She had lived alone for 5 years, ever since her husband went to the mountains and never came back. She did not have much, just her small house, her land, and the animals nobody else wanted. She stood up when she saw the stranger and his broken horse. "I am looking for someone who helps broken things," the stranger said. His voice was the same as before, quiet and sad. "I have a horse that needs help. I do not have much money to pay, but I have something else." "What do you have?" Sarah asked. "I have time," he said, "and I have love for this animal." "I do not know if that is enough." Sarah looked at the horse. She could see the pain in its eyes. She could see the ribs under its skin. She could see that this animal was suffering, but she could also see something else. She could see that the stranger loved this horse with his whole heart. She walked down from her porch and came close to the horse. Very slowly, she reached out her hand. The horse did not pull away. It did not bite. It did not run. It just stood there, letting her touch its neck. "What is its name?" Sarah asked. "I call him Star," the stranger said, "because once, long ago, he ran fast and bright like a star. But now the light is almost gone." "Why do you love him so much?" Sarah asked. The stranger was quiet for a long time. He looked at Star's tired face. Then he said, "Because he reminds me of myself. We are both broken. We are both tired. We are both scared. And we both still hope that someone will not give up on us. Sarah felt something warm in her chest. She understood this man. She understood what it meant to be broken and still hope for kindness. "You can stay," she said. "I have a small room in my house. You can work here. We will help Star together. Maybe we can make him strong again. Maybe we cannot. But at least he will not be alone." The stranger's eyes became wet. He did not cry, but his eyes became bright with tears. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you for not turning us away." That night, Sarah made food for the stranger. She made bread and beans and coffee. The stranger sat at her wooden table and ate slowly. He did not say much. He just sat in the warm light of her kitchen and felt, maybe for the first time in many years, that he was safe. Outside, in the small shelter Sarah built, Star the broken horse ate hay and drank cool water. His ribs still showed. His legs still hurt. His eyes were still sad. But for the first time in many years, he was also not alone. The stranger had found a place where broken things were not thrown away. Sarah had found someone who understood that broken hearts needed kindness most of all. In Dust Ridge Town, nobody knew this yet, but the story of the stranger and the broken horse was just beginning. And it was a story that would change everything.
The sun came up slowly over Sarah's ranch. It painted the sky gold and pink. The rooster called out. The day was beginning. The stranger woke up early. He did not sleep much anymore. His mind was always full of thoughts and memories that would not leave him alone. But this morning was different. This morning, he thought about Star. He got out of bed quietly, so he would not wake Sarah. He put on his boots and walked outside into the cool morning air. The ranch was very quiet, only the sound of wind and animals moving in their shelters. When he came to the small barn where Star was sleeping, the horse lifted its head. The stranger could see that Star had been awake too. The horse's eyes were watching the door, waiting for him. "Hello, my friend," the stranger said softly. "Did you sleep?" Star did not answer. Horses cannot speak with words. But Star moved closer to the fence. Its movement was still stiff and painful. The bad leg dragged a little when it walked. The stranger climbed into the pen. He moved very slowly, so Star would not be scared. Some horses bite, some horses kick, but Star just stood there, watching the man come closer. The stranger reached out his hand. Star smelled it. Then the horse put its head down, and the stranger touched the soft spot between its ears. He touched it the way a father touches a sleeping child, with all his love in his fingers. "We're going to get better," he whispered. "Both of us. I promise you, Star. I promise." Sarah was watching from the window of her house. She could see the stranger standing in the pen with Star. She could see how gentle he was. She could see how much he cared. Her heart felt something warm and sad at the same time. She had lost her husband 5 years ago. He had gone to the mountains to find silver and gold, and he never came back. People said he was dead. People said she should move to a bigger town and find a new life. But Sarah could not leave. This ranch was all she had left of him. This ranch was where they had laughed together and dreamed together. Now, watching this stranger with his broken horse, Sarah remembered what it felt like to love someone. She remembered what it felt like to care so much that your heart could break. She made breakfast, eggs from her chickens, bread she had baked yesterday, and hot coffee. When a stranger came in, his hands were dirty, but his eyes were peaceful. "Star is waking up," he said as he sat down. He is starting to move more. "The pain is still there, but something is changing." "It takes time," Sarah said. "Everything that is broken takes time to heal." The stranger looked at her. She was looking down at her plate, but he could see sadness in her face. He did not ask questions. He had learned that broken people did not always want to talk about their breaking. The days started to follow a pattern. Every morning, before the sun came up, the stranger would go to Star. He would brush the horse's coat slowly and gently. He would talk to Star in soft words. Sometimes he sang songs in a language Sarah did not understand, but she could hear the love in his voice. During the day, the stranger worked on Sarah's ranch. He fixed a broken fence. He built a new shelter for the chickens. He dug a better water trough. He worked hard, but not because he needed to. He worked because he wanted to help Sarah, because she had helped him when no one else would. Sarah watched him work. She saw how his hands were strong but gentle. She saw how he treated even the smallest task with respect. She saw that this man was not just kind to horses. He was kind to everything. One afternoon, Sarah brought water to the stranger while he was working. He was sitting in the shade, fixing a piece of rope. "Can I ask you something?" Sarah said. The stranger looked up. He nodded. "Why do you love Star so much? You just found him. You do not know him." The stranger was quiet for a long time. He looked at the rope in his hands. Then he said, "A long time ago, I had a horse like Star. A beautiful horse, strong and fast. I loved that horse more than I loved most people." He stopped talking. Sarah waited. She knew there was more. "One day, I had to choose," he continued quietly. "I could save the horse, or I could save someone else. I chose the other person. I thought I was being brave. I thought I was being good. But my horse died thinking I had abandoned it." Sarah saw tears running down the stranger's face now. "I cannot save my horse," he said. "But maybe I can save Star. Maybe Star is my second chance. Maybe this is why we found each other." Sarah sat down beside him. She did not say anything. She just sat there, and the stranger was not alone with his sadness. By the second week, something miraculous started to happen. Star began to eat more. The stranger made special food, soft grains mixed with honey and milk. Star's ribs began to hide a little bit under new skin. The horse's eyes started to shine again, just a little bit. And Star's leg was getting better. The stranger would walk Star slowly around the ranch every day, just a little bit farther each time. The bad leg was still stiff, but it was getting stronger. Sarah could see it happening. One day, Star stood up quickly when a stranger came to the pen. The horse did not move slowly like before. Star moved like it was excited to see him. The stranger laughed. Sarah had never heard him laugh before. It was a sound like water, clean and fresh and alive. "Did you hear that, Sarah?" he called out. "Star is getting better. Star is coming back to us." Sarah smiled from her porch. But inside her heart, she was thinking something else. She was thinking that Star was not the only one getting better. The stranger was getting better too. His sadness was still there, but it was not so heavy now. He was starting to smile. He was starting to believe that broken things could heal. And Sarah was healing too. That night, Sarah cooked Star's favorite vegetables. She cooked them soft so Star could eat them easily. She brought them to the pen, and the stranger fed the horse by hand. "Thank you," the stranger said to Sarah, "for everything." "You are welcome," Sarah said. "We are all broken here. But maybe that is why we found each other. Because we know how to be kind to broken things." The stranger nodded. He looked at Star, eating happily. He looked at the stars coming out in the dark sky. And for the first time in many years, he felt like maybe, just maybe, his life could be beautiful again. 3 weeks had passed since the stranger and Star came to Sarah's ranch. The whole town of Dust Ridge was talking about them now. People whispered in the saloon. People gossiped at the market. People had many questions. Who was this stranger? Where did he come from? What was his real name? And why was he staying at Sarah's ranch, working for free, spending all his time with a dying horse? Some of the whispers were kind. Old Tom, the saloon keeper, told people how gentle the stranger was. He said the man had a good heart. He said that broken things deserve kindness too. But other people were not kind. Other people had different ideas. The biggest problem came from a man named Carver. Carver owned the biggest ranch in the area. He was rich and powerful, and he believed he could do anything he wanted. He believed that poor people like Sarah were not important. He believed that horses that could not work had no reason to live. Carver had always wanted Sarah's land. Her ranch was small, but it was in a good place with water and grass. He had asked her many times to sell it to him. Sarah had always said no. She loved her land. She would not leave. Then the stranger came, and Carver saw a chance. One hot afternoon, Carver rode to Sarah's ranch. He brought 2 men with him. They looked mean and hard, like they had done bad things before. The stranger was in the pen with Star, walking the horse slowly around the fence. Sarah was watering her chickens. "Sarah," Carver called out loudly. "I need to talk to you." Sarah knew Carver's voice. She turned around and saw him on his big horse. She did not like Carver, but she was not scared of him. She was never scared of anyone. "What do you want?" she asked. Carver pointed at the stranger. "Who is that man? And why is he living at your ranch?" "His name is," Sarah started to say, but the stranger came out of the pen. He walked toward them slowly. "My name is James," he said. His voice was quiet, but it was strong. "I am helping Sarah with her ranch. I am helping her with her horse. That is all you need to know." Carver laughed. His laugh was mean and cold, like ice in winter. "You are living with a woman, alone, out here in the desert. People are talking. People are saying bad things about both of you. People are saying that Sarah is not respectable anymore." Sarah felt something burn inside her chest. She did not care what people said, but she could see that Carver was trying to hurt her. "I do not care what people say," she said firmly. "But I do care," Carver said. He smiled a smile that was not real. "And I want to help you, Sarah. I want to buy your ranch. I will pay you good money. But you can leave this place. You can go to a bigger town. You can have a real life. You do not have to stay here with a stranger and a dying horse." Sarah looked at James. James was standing very still, watching Carver. His face did not show his feelings, but his hands were tight at his sides. "No," Sarah said. "I'm not selling my land. Not to you. Not to anyone." Carver's smile went away. His face became hard and angry. "Then I'll make sure everyone in town knows what you're doing out here," he said coldly. "I will tell them that you are alone with a strange man. I will tell them that you are not a respectable woman anymore. I will tell them that you do not care about this town." He turned his horse around. "You will change your mind, Sarah. Everyone changes their mind when they lose everything." Then Carver and his men rode away, leaving dust in the air behind them. Sarah stood very still. She was not crying, but her eyes were bright with tears that would not fall. James came to her. He stood beside her, close but not touching. "I am sorry," he said quietly. "Because of me, people are saying bad things about you." "It is not your fault," Sarah said. "Carver has wanted my land for a long time. He is just using you as an excuse." "Then I should leave," James said. "I should take Star and go. I do not want to hurt you." Sarah turned to him. Her eyes were fierce now, like a wild animal protecting its home. "You are not leaving," she said. "Carver does not get to tell me what to do. Carver does not get to tell me who I can help. This is my ranch, and you are welcome here as long as you want to stay." James looked at her. He saw her strength. He saw that she was brave. He saw that she would not give up, even when the whole world was against her. "Thank you," he said. That night, Sarah made a big pot of soup. She cooked it with meat and vegetables and love. She and James sat at her table and ate together. Outside, Star was sleeping peacefully in the barn. "Tomorrow, I am going to town," Sarah said. "I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to tell them the truth about you. I'm going to tell them that you are a good man. I'm going to tell them that I am helping you because it is the right thing to do." "People will not believe you," James said. "People believe what they want to believe." "Maybe," Sarah said, "but I have to try. I have to try because it matters. I have to try because you matter. Star matters. What we are doing here matters." James looked at Sarah across the table. She was beautiful in the light of the lamp, but it was not her face that was beautiful. It was her heart that was beautiful. Her heart was kind and brave and true. "I did not know what I did to deserve your kindness," he said. "I do not know why you help me when you do not even know me." Sarah smiled. It was a sad smile and a happy smile at the same time. "Because you loved a broken horse when no one else would," she said. "Because you showed me that broken things still deserve love. Because you reminded me that I am brave too. We help each other, James. That is what people do when they care about each other." James did not say anything. He just looked at her, and Sarah looked back. Outside, the desert wind was blowing. Inside, two broken people were finding that maybe they could heal each other. And in the barn, Star was sleeping peacefully, dreaming of running free again. The next morning, Sarah dressed in her best clothes. She put on a clean dress that had belonged to her mother. She brushed her hair carefully. She was going to town, and she was going to fight for James with her words and her courage. James tried to stop her. "Please do not go," he said. "People will hurt you with their words. People will make things worse." But Sarah was already walking toward her horse. "Sometimes we have to be brave," she said. "Sometimes we have to stand up and say what is true, even when it is hard. You taught me that. You taught me that broken things are worth fighting for." She rode to town slowly. The sun was hot on her shoulders. When she arrived at the market, people stopped talking and looked at her. She could see the questions in their eyes. She could feel their judgment. Sarah went to the saloon first. Tom was behind the counter, pouring whiskey for the cowboys. "I need to talk to everyone," Sarah said loudly. "I need to tell you the truth about James." Tom put down his glass. He nodded at her. He knew Sarah was a good person. He wanted to hear what she had to say. "Come on, everyone," Tom called out. "Sarah has something to say. Let's listen." Slowly, the people in the saloon gathered around Sarah. There were cowboys, shopkeepers, and women who worked in the town. About 20 people stood in front of her, waiting. Sarah took a deep breath. "My name is Sarah. Many of you know me. I have lived here for 5 years, alone on my ranch. I have kept to myself. I have not asked anyone for help. But now I am asking you to listen." She paused. She looked each person in the eye. "A man came to my ranch 3 weeks ago. His name is James. He has a horse that was broken and dying. He asked me for help. I gave him a place to stay, and he has worked hard for me every day. He has fixed my fences. He has built me a new shelter. He has helped my animals. He's a good man." A woman spoke up. Her name was Mrs. Miller. She was the shopkeeper's wife. "What about Carver?" Mrs. Miller asked. "Carver said you two were improper together." Sarah's face became red, but her voice stayed strong. "Carver wants my land," Sarah said. "He has wanted it for years. He is trying to hurt me, so I will sell it to him. James is a good man. I have nothing to hide. But even if I did, it would be my business, not Carver's." Tom clapped his hands. It was a loud clap that echoed in the saloon. "Sarah is right," Tom said. "I have watched James. I have seen how he treats people. I have seen how he treats that horse. That man has a good heart. Carver is just trying to steal what is not his." Other people started talking. Some agreed with Tom. Some still believed Carver. But something had changed. Sarah had been brave. Sarah had told the truth. People could not ignore that. That afternoon, something unexpected happened. A boy came running to Sarah's ranch. He was maybe 12 years old, with dirt on his face and excitement in his eyes. His name was Tommy, and he lived at the edge of town with his poor family. "Is it true?" Tommy asked, breathing hard. "Is it true that you have a horse that was dying, and you saved it?" "Yes," Sarah said. "We saved it together. A man named James and I." Tommy's eyes grew big. "Can I see it?" he asked. "Can I see the horse?" Sarah smiled. "Of course." She took Tommy to the barn where Star was resting. When Tommy saw the horse, his mouth opened like he was looking at a miracle. "It is beautiful," Tommy whispered. "Can I touch it?" "Yes," Sarah said. Very gently, Tommy reached out his small hand and touched Star's neck. The horse moved its head down toward the boy, and Tommy smiled so big that his whole face shined. "This is the best thing I have ever seen," Tommy said. "Can I come back? Can I help you take care of this horse?" Sarah looked at the boy. She saw sadness in him too. She saw that he was poor and lonely and broken in his own way. "Yes," she said. "You can come back every day if you want." By the end of the week, 3 children were coming to Sarah's ranch after their school. Then 5, then 10. Word had spread through the town that there was a miracle happening at Sarah's ranch. A broken horse was getting better. A stranger had come and taught people about kindness. James was surprised. He did not expect anyone to care. But children were curious and honest. They did not believe the bad things people said. They only saw what was true, that James was kind, that he loved Star, and that love was making everything beautiful. One afternoon, James was walking Star around the ranch when Tommy asked him a question. "Where did you come from?" Tommy asked. "Why did you come here?" James was quiet for a long time. Then he sat down under a big tree, and the children sat around him. "A long time ago," James said, "I had a life that was broken. I had sadness inside me that would not go away. I did bad things because I was broken. I hurt people. I even hurt an animal I loved very much." The children listened without interrupting. "I did not think I could ever be good again," James continued. "I thought I was too broken. But then I found Star, and Star was broken too. And when I helped Star, something happened. I started to heal too. I learned that broken things can become beautiful again. I learned that love can fix broken hearts." Tommy looked up at James with tears in his eyes. "I am broken too," Tommy said quietly. "My father left us. My mother cries at night. I am broken inside. James reached out and put his hand on Tommy's shoulder. "You are not broken," James said. "You are just sad. And sadness is how we learn to love other people. Sadness makes our hearts big enough to care about things that matter. You're not broken, Tommy. You are becoming brave." That night, Sarah and James sat on the porch as the sun went down. Star was in the barn, eating hay and resting. The children had gone home, but their laughter still seemed to float in the air. "You were right," James said to Sarah. "You were right to go to town. You were right to be brave." "Look at Star," Sarah said. She pointed to where they could see the horse through the barn door. "3 weeks ago, we thought this horse was going to die. Now, children come every day to see it. Now, this horse is teaching people about hope and healing." James looked at Sarah in the fading light. "And look at me," he said. 3 weeks ago, I was a broken man with no hope. Now I have a place to belong. I have you. I have Star. I have children who believe in me. I have a reason to live." Sarah took his hand. Her hand was warm and strong. "We saved each other," she said. "That is what love does. It saves broken things. It makes them whole again." In the barn, Star was standing peacefully. The horse was strong now. Its ribs no longer showed. Its eyes were bright and full of life. Its bad leg was almost healed. Star was no longer a broken horse. Star had become a symbol of hope for the whole town. And James was no longer a broken man. He had become a healer. All because Sarah had believed that broken things still deserve kindness. For months had passed. The desert sun was setting gold and orange again, painting the sky the way it had the day James arrived. But everything was different now. Everything had changed. Star was not a broken horse anymore. Star was beautiful. The horse's coat was smooth and shiny like polished leather. Its ribs were hidden under strong muscles. Its bad leg was completely healed. It walked and ran and galloped like a young horse again. But the most beautiful thing about Star was its eyes. The eyes that had been dead with pain were now bright with joy and life. And Star was famous. People came from other towns to see the miracle horse. They came to hear the story of the broken animal that was saved by love. They came to see the stranger who believed that every creature was worth saving. Word had spread across the whole region. The legend of Star and James had become something bigger than a ranch or a town. It had become a story that made people believe in kindness again. Carver had left Dust Ridge 2 months ago. When he saw that people no longer believed his lies, when he saw that James had become a hero instead of a villain, he could not stay. He sold his big ranch and moved to a city far away. Some people said he was ashamed. Others said he was angry. But he was gone, and Sarah's land was safe. On this special evening, the whole town of Dust Ridge came to Sarah's ranch. There were children running and playing in the fields. There were mothers and fathers standing together, talking and laughing. There were old cowboys sitting in chairs, telling stories. Tom the saloon keeper brought food and drinks. Mrs. Miller brought bread she had baked. People brought gifts and flowers. They had all come for one reason. James and Sarah were getting married. Sarah wore a white dress that belonged to her mother. It was simple and beautiful, like Sarah herself. She had flowers in her hair, wildflowers from the desert that grew near the ranch. She was smiling, and her smile was like the sun coming up. James wore clothes that were clean and new. His face was shaved. His hair was brushed. But the most beautiful thing about James was his eyes. The eyes that had been full of sadness and guilt were now full of hope and love. Old Tom stood between them. He was going to say the words that would make them husband and wife. "We are here," Tom said loudly so everyone could hear, "to see 2 broken people become whole again. We are here to see love win against sadness. We are here to see that broken things can become beautiful." He looked at James. "James, you came to our town with nothing but a dying horse and sadness in your heart. You taught us that broken things deserve kindness. You taught us that love can heal anything. Do you promise to love Sarah with your whole heart for all your life?" James looked at Sarah. His eyes were shining with tears. "I promise," he said. His voice was strong and true. Tom looked at Sarah. "Sarah, you opened your home and your heart to a stranger. You were brave when people said bad things about you. You believed in kindness when the world was trying to be cruel. Do you promise to love James with your whole heart for all your life?" Sarah smiled, so big that everyone could see how happy she was. "I promise," she said. "Then by the power of this town and this desert and the sky above us, I say you are now husband and wife. You are now family. You are now home for each other." Everyone cheered. They clapped their hands and shouted with joy. Then something magical happened. Star came walking out of the barn. But Star was not alone. The horse was walking slowly and gently, and on its back sat Tommy. The small boy was holding the rope with both hands, his face full of wonder and joy. Behind them came the other children, walking hand in hand with Sarah's animals, the goats, the chickens, the gentle creatures that lived on the ranch. James and Sarah watched as Star walked toward them. The horse came right to them and lowered its head. James touched Star's neck, and Star's eyes were full of love. "Look," Tommy said excitedly. "Look what Star can do now. Star is strong enough to carry me. Star is healed." The crowd gasped. Many of them had seen Star when it first came to the ranch, dying, broken, hopeless. Now they were watching the same horse, carrying a child on its back with care and gentleness. James lifted Tommy down carefully. Then he put his hand on Star's forehead. "You did it, my friend," James whispered. "You came back to us. You became strong again." Star pressed its forehead against James's forehead. That is what horses do when they love someone very much. That is what Star did to show James that they had saved each other. That night, after all the guests had gone home, James and Sarah sat together under the stars. Star was sleeping peacefully in the barn. The desert was quiet and beautiful. "I was thinking," Sarah said, "about how different everything is now." "Yes," James said. "For months ago, I was a broken man. I did not think I deserved to be happy. I did not think I could ever love anyone again. And I was lonely," Sarah said. "I was alone on this ranch, missing my husband, thinking that sadness was all I would ever know." James took her hand. "But then Star came," he said, "and Star was broken too, and we all saved each other. What do you think will happen now?" Sarah asked. James looked at Star's barn. He looked at the children's footprints in the dirt from where they had played. He looked at the ranch that had become a place of healing and hope. "I think we will have more horses," he said. "Broken horses that other people give up on. We will help them become strong again. We will teach people that every life matters. We will teach them that love is the most powerful thing in the world." Sarah nodded. She understood. She had been thinking the same thing. "And maybe," she said, "children will come here to learn what we have learned. They will learn that broken things can be healed. They will learn that love is stronger than sadness. They will learn that one act of kindness can change everything." Over the years, that is exactly what happened. Sarah and James built a bigger barn. They brought broken horses to the ranch, horses that were dying, horses that had been hurt, horses that no one else wanted. They healed them with medicine and with love. They taught children that every creature deserved kindness. Tommy became James's helper. He grew up strong and kind, learning everything about horses. The other children who came to the ranch grew up believing that broken things were worth saving. And Star? Star became a legend. The horse lived many happy years at Sarah's ranch. It carried children who were sad and lonely. It stood patiently while people who were hurting touched its neck and cried their tears into its mane. Star had been saved, and then Star saved many others. When Star was very old, when its legs were slow and its eyes were getting tired, children would still come to see it. They would put their hands on Star's neck and whisper their sadness to the horse. And Star would stand there, patient and strong and full of love, showing them that broken hearts could heal. The legend of Star and James and Sarah became a story that people told to their children. It became a story that gave people hope when they were suffering. It became a story that said, "You are not too broken. You're not too far gone. Someone can love you. Someone can save you. Someone can believe in you." On quiet evenings, when the sun was setting and the desert was painting the sky gold and orange, James and Sarah would sit on their porch. They would watch Star in the field with the other horses. They would watch the children playing in the dust. They would watch the new broken horses learning to be strong again. And they would remember. They would remember the day when a stranger rode into town with a dying horse. They would remember the moment when Sarah said, "You can stay." They would remember how broken things had become beautiful. "We did this," Sarah would say softly. "We saved Star." And James would shake his head. "No," he would say. "Star saved us. Star taught us that broken things are worth loving. Star taught us that we were worth saving too." And in the barn, under the stars, Star would stand peacefully, dreaming of all the lives it had touched, all the hearts it had healed, all the broken children and broken people it had taught that love was real and love was strong and love could save anything. The legend lived on, not just in stories told around campfires, not just in the hearts of children who had visited the ranch, but in every life that was touched by kindness, in every person who learned that broken things still deserved love. Because that is the most important lesson of all. Broken things are not worthless. Broken things are not hopeless. Broken things are just waiting for someone brave enough to love them back to wholeness. And that is the story of Star and James and Sarah. The story of how broken became beautiful. The story of how love healed everything. The story that changed a town, changed a desert, and changed the world.